And a very good Monday morning to you, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, puppies and kitties. I trust that you're all off a wonderful weekend. Had a great time. eh? Got a little rest in, got some work done around the house, and, kept in touch with long lost friends and stuff like that. Whatever. Here, we had an incredible weekend as well. Let me tell you, man. Those of you who were with us yesterday morning for this past weekend's edition of SWGG, you know what I'm talking about. Dynamite, dynamite. There's still a buzz going on as a result of what we heard yesterday. We had a gentleman in here who was talking about his experiences during the Grenada Revolution, 1979 to 1983. His name was Denis Charles, and he felt that, we'd always been hearing about the really good things about the revolution, especially in recent times with the celebration or commemoration, if you will, of the 40th anniversary of the revolution. So he wanted to present the other side of the story. Well, he spent, I think, a little over an hour with us yesterday morning. And I'm not going to play the whole thing for you, but I pulled out, I think, 1, 2, 3 clips from what he had to say yesterday morning, just to sort of whet your appetite. Okay? We're going to play those for you. Then, of course, we have the National Report, brought to you by the Government Information Service. After that, here comes Valerie. That's the way I have it up on the website this morning. Just let me turn the air conditioning on in here. It's kind of getting a little bit warm. Valerie is supposed to be with us this morning. Now, I say supposed to because Valerie is scheduled to be with us every Monday morning. Hey, that's great. Unfortunately, Valerie has been having one hell of a tough time with the internet out there in Carriacou. I am hoping that things are going to work out this morning so that she'll be able to chime in, if you will. And if she does, great. If not, well, Georgie Porgy is going to be left having to fill a bit of a void. So if we don't hear from Valerie, what we're going to do is bring you a repeat of that little feature which we did yesterday about the CBI program. Okay? The Point Det Pity Calavini. But we're only going to put that in if we're not able to get Valerie on. Keep your pinkies crossed that the internet will allow us to talk with Valerie this morning. I'm gonna forget about Facebook. I'm going straight into my rundown here. Now, yesterday we featured a gentleman who incurred the wrath of the Grenada Revolution. And he wanted an opportunity to share his experiences with you. His name? Denis Charles. The session, as I mentioned a moment ago, lasted for a little bit over an hour. But this morning, for those of you who may have missed it, I'm going to share with you 3 excerpts. What you're about to hear are the views of Mr. Charles and do not necessarily reflect the views of Grenada Broadcast. He spoke of some of the atrocities which were committed at a very well-known name in this place, Hopevale.
The same, the Raffine, they blindfolded him and they took him to the beehive. There was a beehive on the fort and they disturbed the bee. The PRA ran and left him there. He cannot run, he can't see. He doesn't know where to go. All of that happened in Grenada during the glorious revolution, and people worshiping Maurice Bishop. They don't know what monster this guy was. A fraud. He visited Hopeville, where they had a detainee 28 days in a drain, tied up, a rasta, because he refused to work. Himself and Kenrick Radix laughing, peeping at the guy, smoking cigarette. Many detainees were tortured at Hopeville, including Belgian Thomas, the younger brother of Tillman Thomas. Tillman Thomas was in Fort Rupert himself, along with his other brother and his younger brother, Belgian Thomas. So 3 brothers from one family in Hermitage. The former Prime Minister, Tillman Thomas, was on Fort Rupert. I think that's the time they picked him up with Lloyd Noel and Leslie Pierre. Their crime, they wanted to overthrow the government. How? Because they printed an article, a newspaper, because the revolution had suspended all free speech, all media, all political association, no political party, no opposition, no demonstration, no nothing. Okay? That was not what the revolution was about. So if you're replacing Gary, and Gary is that evil monster, he's a dictator, you came in and you did worse. So then they had to use heavy manners. Imagine a prime minister going on the radio, dividing the country, and calling people who don't agree with him counter-revolutionary, telling them they would put them under heavy manners. Maurice Bishop, what do you mean by heavy manners? You're giving the PRA soldiers a green light to abuse anybody with impunity and get away with it. Bogo Cornwall, Liam James, Goat Redhead, Schoolboy, which is Moses, they held a detainee at Pearls Airport and stretched him. They beat him so bad he began to pee blood. They beat him in his testicles, his balls. Then they sliced it, and they left him right there in the blood without giving him medical treatment. That happened on Pearls Airport before they built the Point Solin International Airport. The things that these captains in the army did, not regular soldiers, the captains, and they are outside now in politics and want to pretend whatever it is. Those are crimes against humanity. All of that went on in Grenada. And they get in away scot-free. And who gives them the cover to do that? The leadership of the PRG.
Now, that's part 1 of your 3-parter. Mr. Charles claims to have spoken with Bernard Cord, who has allegedly expressed regrets about the abuse which took place. He said that Cord has taken full responsibility and apologized. He said that Cord was asked to go public about the lies about plots to overthrow the government and to rewrite his book. Cord promised to do that. Part 2.
I want to walk on the pathway toward reconciliation, forgiveness, if you will. I don't hate anybody. I want to let go. I want to forgive. And I would inform you that about a month ago, I spoke with Brother Bernard Cord. We spoke for more than an hour, and he expressed his regrets at my abuse. He said to me that he takes full responsibility for what happened to me, being that they had joint leadership, so he's the other half of it, and that he is very sorry. I did ask him, for the sake of truth, to publish or go publicly and let the Grenadian people know all the misinformation and lies and false accusations, all these plots to overthrow the government, those things never took place. Go back and rewrite his book and speak the truth. And he told me he is going to go back. In fact, he did write an article where he exonerated me, but we want it public. My cousin, who is Dr. Denis Roberts, she sent an article for me where he did mention Denis Charles did not do anything. He was innocently picked up and abused. But go and tell the world that, because you still have your supporters calling me counter-revolutionary. Tell them that. I don't care what, if it tarnishes the image of the revolution. We already know it was fake anyways. So go out and tell the public. All these false arrests, the killings. My good friend Steve Lalcy, along with some of his friends, the Stanislas brothers from Certes, they were mowed down. And the shooting took place in planes. It was mistaken identity by the PRA. No windows, no air conditioning. The place small like that. I could touch the ceiling. And to make matters worse, they concrete the roof and they put black tar on it, pitch. So by 10 o'clock in the day, inside is like 100 degrees already, no fresh air, no window. We stay with the underpants. So they take me again and put me with Noble Philip from Monkreach and Dennis Rush, a police officer from Gerrytime. 3 of us in a little cell. You could hardly walk. When Rush began to snow at night, I had to smell his mouth because I am here and he's there. And Noble on top on the bunk. On the bottom side here was a bucket. That's the toilet. Although the building had toilet, they would never let us go and bathe. Sometimes 2 days we don't bathe, we stinking. And another bucket here to drink water. I had to pull down my pants in front of 2 grown men and sit down on a bucket. And when you finish, you have to beg the PRA to come and give you toilet paper. And they would be laughing at us and say they don't have no toilet paper. So all you did And the bucket is not comfortable. It's like a lard, like a bucket that you have compounding or things like that. Just a bucket. The bucket making a circle around your bottom because you have to sit down and wait for toilet paper. And when I'm done, Noble have to come back and use the same bucket too when he's ready to go. And then Denis Rush have to come back and use the bucket again. Sometimes we were locked up 23 hours a day in that cell, stinking, no window. And if I want to go and pee, I had to go in that bucket again. That time it ferment, it come like yeast when you're making bread. And pee into that shit again. Excuse me. And they would not let us use the toilet, so we locked up in that tiny place with the heat, the sun, and the tar on the roof. When you raise up your arm yellow from the butter they're giving you. Dead flies, cockroach, rat droppings, flea, mosquito, the food that you eat. The storeroom, they couldn't prevent the rats. We had so much rat in there, the rat would walk in the daylight and not scared of people. The balls dragging on the ground.
Yeah. That's part 3. We're only going to bring you 3 parts this morning. Now, let me turn here to Facebook. I've been sort of negligent in not saying good morning to you guys, but let's say good morning to Mags, Bernard, Peter. I see that Peter is... Peter, what are you selling? He's either in Long Island, Brooklyn. This morning where? He's in Virginia. The guy's all over the place. Every time you see him, he's someplace different. Holy Toledo. Glennon Knights is also saying good morning. Andy Smart is saying good day, Georgie Porgy. Andy, go Georgie Porgy yourself. How you doing, fella? Still waiting on a visit from you. It's been a lot of years since last we saw each other. You still big and tough? And how's your little son there? Guess he ain't that little anymore. Anyhow. Fitzroy Adams is also saying good morning. John, oh my goodness, I can't believe, John Crow Alexander is saying, great God morning to you. Wish others would come forward with their stories. He's referring to Denis Charles. Well, let me tell you, John Crow, since we aired that yesterday, a lot of people have decided they too want to have their say. So it looks like this opened up something, and you're going to hear some more people coming forward in the next few months. Okay? Hang in there. Lincoln Roberts is saying, good day to all God's children. Hey, good day to you too, Linky. Have a blessed day every day. He says, I listened yesterday, and I'm wondering why Mr. Charles didn't cooperate from the beginning instead of resisting, thus causing the whole situation he found himself in. Too many questions. He needs help. Sorry. Then Cassandra Mitchell says, interesting. Margaret says, Lincoln Roberts, what should he have cooperated with? Let's see if we get an answer to that. Okay. John Crow says, why Mr. Charles didn't cooperate? Really, Mr. Lincoln? Lincoln opened up a can of worms there, fella. And then Kathleen Lewis is also saying good morning. Folks, we are running, hold on a sec here. Here comes Kippy. Kippy is saying good morning, sending God's blessings. And he's just back from another treatment. Hey, the fact that you're having treatments, looks like things are going well for you, Kippy. Our prayers are being answered, fella. Be thankful. Be thankful. Now, time now to take our first little break. It's what here? 20 and a half minutes after 9 o'clock, which means that your national report's about 10 minutes late already. So we're going to get to the national report in just a wee bit, but first let's take a little break here.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Grenadian General Insurance Company, strength and stability. Grenadian General Insurance Company, tell your friends, tell your family. We cover householders comprehensive, motor and even fire too. Contractors all risk burglary, public liability, professional indemnity, directors liability, and wait, we still have more. Come and find out more what you're waiting for.
We are located on Scott Street, St. George's. For more information, call 440-2434.
Tell everybody.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Co-op Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
MOU signed between TAMCC and GHTA could mean more Grenadians will fill specialized positions in the hospitality industry. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the National Report for Friday, March 15, 2019, I am Sherry-Ann Noel. The Grenada Hotel and Tourism Association has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Tia Marisho Community College that will help to produce well-trained students who can fill the gaps in the hospitality industry. Every year, as many as 100 hospitality students graduate from the Tia Marisho Community College, and according to former GHTA President Russ Fielding, the intention is to bring them to the level where Grenada does not have to import labor in some of these specialized hospitality areas. The MOU was signed between both parties on Thursday.
In terms of restaurant staff, it's fairly easy. You need supervision. You need good servers. In the kitchen, there's always a gap, and that's one of the areas we hope to fulfill. One of the problems we have in Grenada that we don't have any executive chefs, or very, very few that are available. And what we need to do is develop our chefs that come out from here so that they can aspire to being executive chefs or head cooks in kitchens. We have excellent cooks coming out, but we need to develop the skills to be able to become executive chefs. TAMCC probably hasn't got the ability to do that currently, but you have to lay the foundation for those students so they can go abroad and study to be executive chefs and managerial staff. I mean, management is always a problem, and that is a gap that we're seeing, and that's a gap that we're hoping to be able to fill.
The Tia Marisho Community College and the GHTA have a relationship spanning decades, which was formalized by Thursday's signing. Mark Kitchen, who represented the GHTA, gave their commitment to ensuring the partnership is a success.
The majority of hotels here in Grenada have had past experience with TAMCC, And today, signing ceremony is really about formalising that agreement and really laying out that plan that was just spoken about in terms of moving forward. We're very, very excited to work closer with the faculty here at TAMCC, and we're extremely excited about working together with the students, both during their practical experiences and, of course, being able to provide full-time employment for them once they've graduated here from this great facility.
Acting Principal of the Tia Marischal Community College, David Fleming, spoke to the positive impact the agreement will bring to Grenada and the tourism industry.
The gains from this, we expect, would transcend the acquisition of knowledge and performance competencies of our students to them becoming world-class hospitality and tourism workers that would fit the high-end position at our hotels in Grenada and hotels throughout the region and the world over.
The Grenada National Patient Kidney Foundation and the Ministry of Health are concerned about the increase in kidney diseases on island. The foundation reports an increase in chronic kidney diseases from 2018. This was revealed on Thursday by the foundation during a public forum. The forum was held to educate the public on treatments available, services and support offered, and ways to prevent the disease. There are already 18 individuals undergoing treatment at the General Hospital.
In Grenada, similar estimates, like I said, in 2018 there were 15 persons receiving dialysis and another 30 plus patients attending the renal clinic, which is set up at the hospital, the General Hospital. An estimated 20 more plus Grenadians all living outside. That's only what we know. 20 plus patients living outside of Grenada that are receiving dialysis and usually come back and forth to visit, and they receive their treatment at our clinic. And for 2019, we have already gone as far as 19 patients. So we have jumped from 15 to 19, and I want to let you know that that happened within the space of 3 months.
Director of Hospital Services, Dr. Carol McIntosh, highlighted the support offered by the Government of Grenada to the hospital for kidney patients.
The Government of Grenada provides financial assistance to all patients with financial difficulty receiving dialysis through the Grenada Patient Kidney Foundation. May not be the best, may not be a lot, but it's assistance. And we're always saying, how do we work towards more? Peritoneal dialysis service is offered at the General Hospital under the guidance of Dr. Bristol. And she will talk about the numbers that are going up and how we can try to support in moving towards that. Medications provided at the General Hospital Pharmacy at concessional rates. So it's at a lower rate because the medication prices can be off the wall. And we don't want to be, and I can tell you this from here, I'm starting October 1st, so I can't tell you all through the years. But we don't want it to be that you're not taking the medication because you can't afford it. That you have to have some assistance in that.
This is a national report. More news after the break.
Last time, we entertained and thrilled you with song, comedy, drama, music, and dance. In 2019, we are back to light up your night as the RGPF Women's Arm presents Shine 2. A showcase of talent from all law enforcement women at the Grenada Trade Center on Saturday, March 16 from 7 p.m. Tickets are $40 in advance, more at the door. Tickets available from members of the RGPF Women's Arm and regular box offices across the island. Shine 2. Come listen to the amazing voices. Laugh your socks off with comedy at its best. A night that will leave you inspired emotionally and gratified. So let's make it a day. Saturday, March 16th at the Grenada Trade Center as we, the RGPF Women's Arm, presents Shine 2.
Welcome back. Officers in the government service should endeavor to impact the system in a positive way, leaving a legacy of continuous improvement. This takes character and a consistent stance for efficiency and productivity. That was the advice from Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Planning, Physical and Economic Development, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, when he met with the staff of the Central Procurement Unit recently as part of an ongoing finance staff engagement initiative. The procurement unit is mandated to facilitate the disposal of government assets, assist state-owned enterprises, government ministries and departments to align their legislative processes to reduce wastage and ensure government gets the best value for money. The unit is also in the process of developing broader purchasing agreements with the private sector and the general public to save money and improve the doing business process. Over the last year, the Ministry of Finance has made several changes to the unit to ensure that it is equipped to effectively carry out its mandate. The new construct has been highly commended by the World Bank as a model for the region. Among the decisions that are having a direct impact on the performance of the unit and the consequent positive impact on government coffers are the greater integration of ICT into the procurement process, policies to reduce the time taken to implement projects, the introduction of sustainable procurement practices, continuous staff training and capacity building exercises. And finally, Agriculture and Lands Minister says job well done to the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA, on its many successes throughout the sector in 2018. Minister Yolande Bain-Horsford shared the commendations during ICA's accountability seminar on Thursday. Training, research and internship programs, technical assistance, yellow-resistant plants all form part of the cooperation's success story of 2018. According to Minister Bain-Horsford, Grenada's sector will not have been as productive without ICA's assistance.
ICA and Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, have collaborated on an initiative to improve the capacity of members for 4 rural producer groups. This initiative provided training in the areas of financial accountability, management, and effective communication for producer groups, in an effort to augment the actions taken by the ministry to combat the dreaded citrus greening disease. We turned again to ICA for support. ICA Grenada brought in technical assistance from Jamaica, where there is a citrus certification program in place, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where a program is being developed.
She advised the cooperation against becoming complacent in its efforts to continue giving support to the farmers and, by extension, the agriculture sector in 2019.
ICA, in a time of lower budgets and the challenge of doing more with less, has performed admirably, and I must reiterate my appreciation for the support. I, however, must caution Mr. Charles and the ICA office that they cannot let complacency ruin their efforts, as the sector is deserving of greater support. Therefore, we must deepen our collaboration to achieve even greater successes in the coming year.
This brings us to the end of the national report. Recapping the top story, MOU signed between TAMCC and GHDA could mean more Grenadians will fill specialized positions in the hospitality industry. I am Sherian Noel. Thank you for viewing.
Alrighty, folks, there you have it. That was Friday's edition of the National Report. Now, just before we get to Valerie, I want to ask you a favor. It seems like I'm always asking favors, but the reason why I do is because I'm trying to make it easier for all of us here who are in this forum to, be able to identify, to be able to relate to each other and understand what's going on. So I do ask, when you're posting a comment, don't assume that people know what you're posting about. What you say is important to us, and we really want to understand what you're saying. But if you put it in such a way that, people are going, say what? It does none of us any good. Let me deal with this morning specifically. Earlier on, somebody made a comment and says, I'm wondering why Mr. Charles didn't cooperate from the beginning instead of resisting, thus causing the whole situation he found himself in. Well, I thought I was the only airhead in the audience who didn't understand what this person was talking about. But apparently, I wasn't. Because here comes Margaret saying, what should he have cooperated with? Good question. I don't have a clue. And it's not just Margaret. Hold on. John Crow Alexander is asking, why Mr. Charles didn't cooperate? Really? He doesn't know either. Huh? That's not all. Hold on. Lydia James says, why didn't he cooperate? Really? Folks, please, you're going to post something on social media, and on social media, it's not just us here on the forum. This thing is open to the whole wide world, and people are curious. So when you're posting something, try and make it clear what you're trying to say so that we could participate. We want to participate, okay? Now, that's just part. Here comes Bernard Gilbert saying, there's two sides to the story. Great. Two sides to the story. What story are we talking about? I don't know. I would love to, and I'm sure the other people out there would love to be able to comment on that. There are two sides to the story. Yeah, what story? Hold on. And then he comes back and says, innocent until proven guilty. Help me! Guys, please, make sense. We all want to be part of this, but we need to understand what you're talking about. Okay? Thank you. Now, Peter Bishop says, good advice, PM. How about giving your fellow ministers and yourself that advice? The amount of wastage we have in Grenada due to bad decisions by your government. Hey, Pedro. Hey. Kipling says, Peter, ever heard the term, do as I say, not as I do? Yeah. Jackie. Hello, Jackie O. Jackie O says, good morning from Washington, D.C. Good morning, Jackie O. How is the Don treating you up there? Huh? We're curious. Lincoln says, Gigi, Mr. Charles said he didn't want to give them his name when they met him at the shop buying flour before he was picked up. Okay. That's behind us. Let's just move on. Cheryl. Hello there, Cheryl Khalees Theg. Am I saying this right? Theg? She's saying good morning, George Grant. Yeah. Okay, folks, I see a smiling face on my monitor over there. It's kind of jerky because of the caliber of internet they have in Carriacou. It's really, really jerky. But let me take a quick little break here, and then we're going to say good morning to Valerie.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me. How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
With free island-wide delivery, Hubbard's Building Supplies and Lumber Departments continue to provide the best quality lumber, steel, tiles, plumbing materials, electrical and general hardware supplies at competitive prices. We continually consult with builders, homeowners and contractors to improve product range and services. Enjoy discounts where applicable, including the use of credit and debit cards. At Hubbard's Building Supplies, Grandance and Lumber Department, Caranage, we offer quality service, affordable prices, giving you the convenient, reliable, free island-wide delivery. Call 440-2087 for all your home improvement and building solutions.
Alrighty. You know, would you believe it? I was just sitting here looking at Valerie on my Mac. Valerie is just vanished into thin air. I'm assuming she's going to be back in just a wee bit. Anyhow, there's also a note here in the meantime from Cassandra. Cassandra says, stories like Denis Charles. And she's talking about the story we told at the top of the program this morning and ran initially yesterday. Stories like Denis Charles confuse young people like me who want to know the truth about that era. I commend him for speaking out and encourage others to do so as well. Okay, Cassandra, hear you loud and clear. Jackie O says here, Mr. Bishop, it's cool morning here, but traffic and business as usual. Hope you're all having good weather in New York. Jackie, Peter ain't in New York. Where is he this morning? If I'm not mistaken, he's in Virginia. Yeah, he's in Virginia this morning. You lost track as well, eh? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm looking here, and I still don't see Valerie. So I don't know if I'm going to have to sit here and wait indefinitely until she shows up, or should I just play the replacement I had in the event that she didn't show. You know, she's been on now for about 20 minutes or so. She came on while you were watching the GIS report, but went off. I think she was gone on about 3 or 4 different occasions. Just kept on dropping off. And now that we're ready to get her on the air, she's dropped off again. So looks like we're going to have to forego Valerie this morning, but I think you folks are all aware of the situation with the internet out there in Carriacou. So, in the event that such happened, Georgie Porgy, I was never a scout, but I always have an alternative plan, 99.99% of the time. So, yesterday, we ran you a little piece that I shot sometime last week. It's about somebody who's a part of the CBI program, the Citizenship by Investment program. Hold on. There she is. Valerie, can you hear me? Valerie? There is a very jerky face Valerie. Good morning, Valerie.
Good morning, George. Good morning to your listeners and viewers.
You just scared the living daylights out of us. We were about to put you on the air, and suddenly you disappeared.
Give me 1 second. Let me turn the volume down, please. Just 1 second.
There she is. Valerie?
Yes, George, I can hear you.
Okay, Valerie, yes,
Hold on.
good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, Valerie, I mean, folks, look at what I'm seeing of Valerie this morning. You're hearing me okay, good. So, what do you have up your
Can
sleeve?
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What do you have up your sleeve this morning?
Well, George, good morning to you and good morning to you and your listeners. George, well, Carnival is over. It's been about 12 days gone. And now we have the post-Carnival brouhaha brewing.
Okay.
I've been hearing a lot of talk about some conflicts between the festival board and the carnival committee. They claim that there are no conflicts. However, things are not running smoothly. People like carnival band leaders and so are running up and down now to get the money between the two bodies. So I am not quite sure what's happening there. I think it's a lack of communication. I'm not really quite sure, but that I will keep you abreast on that.
Now you're talking about
something else I want to talk.
You're talking about karaoke.
Sorry?
You're talking about karaoke carnival, but it sounds like almost a
I
carnival.
didn't hear that. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. And I said you're talking about karaoke carnival, right?
Right.
Okay. But it sounds so similar to what we so often hear down here about, after the event, people are saying, "Where me money? Where me money?" you know?
Okay. So probably that's what.
Perhaps
yes,
that's what's going
they
on.
claim right, but they see they don't have everything like really ironed out smoothly. So people are going from one body to the other, hoping that somebody can help them pay them with their money. So that's a problem there. I'll let you know how that pans out later on when I hear.
Okay, great. Now, so what's up? What's next?
I heard some people talking about the Chinese houses in Dumfries, and they were saying, are you hearing me okay?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, people were talking down the housing that's being constructed by the Chinese here in Dumfries. So I took a drive down there a few days ago to see exactly what's happening. And what they are constructing, George, are not houses. They are constructing housing, which would be apartments.
Okay.
Yes. So Canadians not used to that type of housing until they go abroad. When they go to America, Canada, wherever they go, they live in apartments and they're happy to be there. But this type of housing in Grenada, they're not used to it.
Yeah.
But if you have no lands, and lands are limited, apartments are the way to go. So somebody needs to educate our people about housing as opposed to houses.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so I think...
Valerie? Oh, there she goes.
Yeah.
Valerie? Oh, my
Because
gosh.
what I saw looked reasonable to me in Dumfries. I didn't hear you, George.
No, I was just about to ask you whether or not you had seen a statement made by the head of the Chinese mission here in Grenada this past week. Apparently, somebody in Carriacou had made a comment in the media that Grenadians were not Carriacouans were not benefiting from these projects in Carriacou in terms of employment and so on and so forth. That all the materials and the personnel were being brought in. And the Chinese responded to that. Did you see that? Uh-huh.
You're breaking up, George. I did.
Story of my life. I'm
was.
cracking up. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Valerie, we're obviously not getting too far this morning because I think that people can see you being very, very jerky on their screens here. And you're obviously having a tough time hearing me, so perhaps we should just call it quits.
I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing you now, okay?
All right. I should issue threats a little bit more often. Okay, no, I was asking you whether or not you heard the head of the Chinese mission here in Grenada responding to somebody. I think it was Tevin Andrew.
Yes, I.
There she goes. There she goes. There she goes. Okay, Valerie.
Tevin's comments, and Tevin's comments are so true. They are true. The construction people and the businesses and so are not benefiting now. But once these housing units are ready, I believe the people of Carriacou will benefit.
Okay. That's good news. That's good news. And
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Yes, I believe. Yes.
And by the way, pardon me?
What about the letter that was written to a teacher here in Carriacou 14 years ago, and she only received it a little over a month ago?
A letter written 14 years ago only arrived a month ago.
Yes. Yes. It was newspaper. You may have missed it, but this lady retired in 2015. She was a teacher who deserved to be promoted, and this letter was written to her in 2005 by the chief education officer at the time. And she received it a month ago, telling her about her, informing her of her promotion. But she retired 3 years ago.
Yeah. Don't you just love our country? Huh? Okay, Valerie. Bye. As soon as you can afford it, buy a computer for that lady, and she won't have to depend on snail mail anymore. She can get her stuff by email. Okay?
Well, I think that warrants an investigation by the Ministry of Education. But
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point, and we'll just have to wait and see whether or not that materializes. Anyhow, Valerie, we are rapidly going downhill with the quality of the internet. I just want to share with you a comment from Margaret. I just want to share with you a comment from Margaret. Margaret says, Valerie, you are quite right about apartment living being the future of housing in Grenada. Yeah, we've gotten to that point. We have gotten to that point. I think just up the street here, I see some apartments being built. So Margaret's probably right on the money there. Thanks a lot, Valerie. You have a great day. And I don't know. I'm hoping things will go a little bit better next week, but you never, ever know. So thanks a lot. Okay?
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Sorry about the bad reception.
Not your fault, my dear. Not your fault. We've been crying out about it for years. And maybe, just maybe, one of these days, our cries will fall on the appropriate ears. Take care, sweets. Bye-bye.
I hope. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, there she goes. Valerie Thompson out there in Carriacou. And now, that leaves us with a few minutes. So I think I'm still going to run that CBI piece. For those of you who missed it yesterday, check this out.
So my name is Christopher Ashby. I'm the developer and the owner of the Ponte Pitti Calavini. About myself, I grew up in Grenada. I came to Grenada when I was 2 years old. My parents were on a Caribbean cruise. They stopped in Grenada for 4 hours and decided that this was going to be their home. So they moved back here. I was two. Two of my brothers and my sister were born here. I went to Westmoreland, went a little while to Presentation College, and then, as many people do, went away from my education to the United Kingdom and the United States. And then I'm officially now, I suppose, a JCB. In 2007, I came back to, with no intention at all of being in business. I came back to really build upon my foundation. I have a foundation that provides medical care, and it really was my interest in giving back to Grenada, which gave so much to me. And I'd never heard of CBI or any of these sort of things, and but I am a firm believer in acquiring real estate. Have been acquiring real estate for many, many years in Grenada. And so this being the case, I decided after much work and research to build something really fantastic in Grenada. One of the things I'm so proud of is this was built by Grenadians, owned by Grenadians, and it's one of the few projects that isn't being built, I'd say, by individuals who don't live here or not Grenadians. So I'm one of those who came back and actually gave back to my country and gave something that I think is absolutely beautiful and will be here for many, many years. So that's sort of my story. Oh, my father and mother both worked for the government of Sir Eric Gary. My father was the chief veterinary officer for many, many years, and my mother was, she basically was a chief occupational therapy doctor, which was a form of physician that does occupational therapy. So my family has deep roots working with the governor of Grenada and also giving back in this country. I have never heard of CBI before I came to Grenada, though I have many citizenships. I never knew you could actually acquire a citizenship this route. So I heard about it initially in Grenada through Steve Horsford, who was the original director of the CBI, and then through just further research with different financial markets. I went to a lot of seminars, read a lot of books, hired a lot of attorneys, managed understanding the risk, etc. of this before I got involved in it. So the way it works, there's two choices. An individual wishing to become a citizen can either give a donation to the government of Grenada or invest in an improved development. I will add that of all the citizenship programs in the world, and right now there are 23, Grenada has the most stringent of the due diligence requirements. It is, thankfully, our government, our leadership, and especially our Prime Minister, who's head of national security, take this extremely seriously. So we're not the cheapest, we're not the fastest, but we are the most thorough of all the due diligence programs, and I believe of most of the programs. What you won't see about Grenada compared to other programs, you won't see things saying that, we had criminals slip through or governments are coming after us. We're extremely clean, and that is because we have taken the proper steps to ensure that our country is safe and that the people who will be chosen to be citizens are vetted thoroughly, both in Grenada, in their own home countries, and then on a global scale also. One of the things when I first started this process was I wanted to build something that was manageable. What I see a lot with these citizenship projects and other real estate projects in the Caribbean is that, as one of my mentors said, a lot of people are running enthusiastically in the wrong direction. And so what I wanted to do was build something that was small, that was manageable, and will be completed. If you look throughout the Caribbean, not so much in Grenada, but in other countries, St. Kitts, Antigua, etc., you'll see many of these real estate projects that are CBI approved that are in a state of partial completion, mainly because of the lack of funding, lack of financial oversight, and perhaps just the complexities of the market in obtaining clients to come in and make these investments. So the project here is 12 condos, which are, well, by the way, the project is entirely completed. 12 condos, 3 villas, a marina, a gym, and we have an additional large piece of property which in the near future we will commence the construction of a hotel and additional villas. It's a total of 11 acres. The project's 11 acres in total, and we sit right in front of the beautiful and magnificent Calavini Island, and also in front of the someday magnificent, right now just beautiful Hog Island.
Welcome to our nautical unit. In here we have elected to have a beach theme, And it was really good that our interior designers, they captured our vision for these residences. So in this one here, we were able to keep a very Caribbean feel, even though all of the furnishings are very high end. They accounted for every detail. Then you have your master bedroom here.
Wow.
So this room is the master suite in our nautical condo, and as you will see, we kept the theme being very Caribbean, being very beachy, very nautical, as you would see with the paintings of the various knots that are used in sailing. Then you would also see that the furnishings, they are depictive of a lot of driftwood, which you tend to find on the shores of beaches. So our lamps, for example, and then we have our chairs that are made of bamboo, natural wood as well.
Our business model is a B2B model. We do not work directly with clients in many cases. We rely upon organizations that have very large offices globally and work with us. We think it's a better way to manage the risk of the project and also leverage our resources here locally. We never had any intention of building a 200 or 300 person staff to go and obtain this business. So we work with partners in right about 7 countries now. And I would say those are the Middle East, Asia and South Asia, and Europe, United States. I would say that we probably turn down more people who want to work with us than we work with. We're just extremely careful who we work with. This is a business that's growing very rapidly, and as far as the barriers to entry to be in this business by a broker or by an agent have been historically rather low. So we tend to work with people who are established firms, who are well known, who are approved by the government of Grenada, and really are able to vet their clients and represent honestly what we are selling, whether it's Grenada, Antigua, St. Kitts, St. Lucia, etc. So those are our markets. We've seen a very large interest in from Europe as of late, and also from the United States as of late. I mean, Grenada is a magnificent country, but real estate is expensive here. And a lot of people who want to come to Grenada in particular, they don't want to come in and they don't want to buy a house and deal with maintenance and security and all these things. So what happens is a lot of people, including myself when I first bought a house many years ago, I would come down and spend a lot of part of my vacation doing maintenance, making sure that, you know, the house was working, electrical systems were working, that the place was safe, etc. We wanted to create something which is called a private residence club. And what that is that individuals can come in here, buy a property. When they show up at the property, their kitchen is stocked, they want to have a private chef, they have a private chef, there's no maintenance, there's just simply show up, enjoy the vacation. It's not like a hotel where you go and stay for a week or 5 days. You can stay as much as you want to here, depending on what you own. And the idea is you come stay and enjoy Grenada as if you were a resident of the country. We did not choose to become like other hotels. We wanted to keep the overheads low from a business standpoint, but also we wanted to create something that would have actually its own community. People would come and stay develop friendships, etc. Again, that's why we kept it small. It's very manageable.
This is one of our Antibes villas. We have 3 of these, but I'll take you into one of them so you will see the amazing furnishings and the view. Oh, sorry. This is our dining area that goes into the living room. This is the common spaces. This villa has 3 floors. Again, we tried to keep the theme in this unit to be very Caribbean, also keeping with the sea and the bays and the natural environment that we have here at the point. This lever here, the living rooms open out onto the pool deck, where we also have an outdoor kitchen area, and it's really beautiful for not just sunbathing but also for entertaining in the evening time. This is your guest bedroom. In here, the interior design is also in keeping with the general theme of this villa, the very beachy Caribbean feel. You can see it in the blues and the greens that are used in this particular unit.
We will have a restaurant here and a lounge, but not immediately. That's coming soon. Personally, I've owned restaurants. I find it to be an incredibly difficult business, building, whether you're in Grenada, whether you're in the United States, whether you are, is a very challenging business. So we want to focus right now on completing our sales, completing our fit out of our units, and then our lounge and restaurant will probably start construction in July of this year. But we will have a restaurant, and we want to have more of a lounge and a small restaurant than a large restaurant and a small lounge. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Ran that by you yesterday morning, and some pretty good reaction to it, so we thought we'd share that with you this morning. In the event that we didn't have Valerie, well, we got both Valerie and that piece. Now, there's a question here from John Crow Alexander. What camera did you shoot the point footage with? Are you ready? John Crow, that was shot with an iPhone 8. Yeah, man. iPhone 8. That's what I used. And I'll tell you, I've been telling a lot of people lately that I have a couple of iPhones which I do use to shoot stuff like that. But I also have a Samsung S8. Okay? I have iPhone 6 and iPhone 8 and a Samsung, I think it's an S or an A8. And I am much more impressed with the Samsung than with the iPhone, believe it or not. Now, I know everybody gravitates to Apple and their iPhone. Well, maybe they're good. As far as I'm concerned, the video quality, substandard compared to Samsung. Okay. Folks, that's just about going to wrap it up. But before, I'm not sure I mentioned this to you at the top of the program, but I want to get this in. The Privy Council has overwhelmingly dismissed the attempt by Mr. Ewart Layne to be allowed to practice law in Grenada. Apparently that decision was handed down about 7 o'clock our time this morning. Okay, once again, Privy Council has overwhelmingly, I think the vote was 4-1, dismissed the attempt by Mr. Layne to be allowed to practice law in Grenada. Now, parting word here before we hightail it out of here on a Monday morning. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10, 11, and 12. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stance against the devil's schemes. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. That's my parting word for you today. Check it out. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10, 11, and 12. Okie doke, folks. On that note, Georgie Porgy's gonna go feed his face. True confession. This morning, it's coffee. It's not cinnamon tea. I confess. Can't lie to you. I confess. Sort of got off the cinnamon tea kick there. Probably back on later today. God bless you, friends.